In the low valleys of Eldenford, where fields rolled like waves of gold and windmills turned their long arms slowly against the horizon, there lived a farmer named Rowan. He was not a man of wealth nor titles, but the earth itself seemed to know him. Where his plough touched, the soil softened. Where his hands sowed, wheat rose taller, and where his voice sang among the furrows, even sparrows circled as if listening to an old friend. Rowan's life was simple. He lived alone in a cottage that smelled of wood smoke and dried herbs, tending his land from dawn till dusk. Yet for all his labor, he never hoarded grain. He was known for sharing, sending sacks of wheat to the widows, giving milk to the children of the poor, and leaving baskets of apples at doorsteps without a name attached. People of Eldenford said he had been blessed by the earth, but Rowan often smiled quietly and replied, "The earth is generous to all who treat her kindly." But on the northern edge of Eldenford loomed the Hollow Hills, a place avoided after sundown. Old tales whispered that beneath the hills slumbered a forgotten being who had once ruled before men tilled the land. Lanterns flickered oddly in that region, and cattle that grazed too near were found trembling and thin the next morning. Rowan, practical and unafraid, simply kept his fields at a distance. One spring, after heavy rains, Rowan's farmland yielded strangely. His barley sprouted silver-tinged stalks, and his beans glimmered faintly as though dew clung to them long after the sun had risen. Villagers gathered in awe, but also unease. An elder muttered, "This is no blessing of the earth, but a sign. The hollow hills are stirring." Rowan bent to touch the glowing grain. It pulsed warmly beneath his fingers, not in menace, but in life. He decided to wait, to watch. Days passed, and the strange crops ripened early. He stored them carefully, though he told no one how the seeds seemed to hum when he was near, as though recognizing him. Weeks later, a traveler arrived in Eldenford, a cloaked woman with eyes sharp as crow's feathers and a staff bound with silver wire. She came to Rowan's cottage at dusk and said, "I smell what you've harvested. Show me." Rowan, cautious but courteous, led her to the granary. She pulled back her hood. Her hair was white though her face was young, and her gaze lingered on the sacks of glowing grain. "Do you know what you have brought into this world?" she asked. "I know only that the rains were heavy and the soil deep," Rowan answered. She lifted a handful of shimmering seeds, and they glowed brighter in her palm. "These are the seeds of eternity. They sprout when the balance between greed and generosity tips too far. Long ago they were buried beneath the hollow hills to keep them from men's ambition. If planted carelessly, they will twist the hearts of those who eat their fruit. But if tended wisely, they may heal what no hand or herb can touch." Rowan frowned. "Why would such seeds rise in my fields?" The woman's eyes softened. "Because you are known by the earth. It trusts you, but others will come who do not deserve them." True to her warning, words soon spread. Merchants from the capital offered Rowan chests of gold for a handful of his barley. Nobles sent riders demanding he surrender the seeds to the king. Even neighbors who once shared bread with him grew restless, whispering that Rowan hoarded power too great for one man. One night, his barn door was broken open, and he found sacks slashed apart, seeds stolen. He tracked the trail into the hollow hills where torchlight flickered. There he found a group of men from a nearby village, arguing fiercely. One had eaten a seed, and madness had taken him. His eyes burned with hunger, and he struck at his own kin for more. Rowan shouted for them to stop, but the air itself grew heavy. The ground trembled, and from the depths of the hills rose a figure vast and shadowed, a guardian of stone and root, bound to the seeds since ancient times. Its voice boomed like grinding rocks. "Again men take what is not theirs. Again they awaken me." The thieves fled, but Rowan stood firm though fear chilled his bones. "These seeds came to me," he said. "I did not seek them. If blame is due, it is mine." The guardian bent low, eyes glowing green. "You speak not with greed, but with burden. The seeds chose you, farmer. Will you bear their weight?" Rowan thought of Eldenford, its hungry children, its quarrelsome elders, its laughter in harvest festivals. If I can keep them safe, I will, he said. The guardian opened its vast hand, pouring the stolen seeds back into Rowan's satchel. Then you must walk where no plow cuts and no sunlight falls. Take them to the heart of the hollow hills. There lies the loom of life, where the fate of soil and soul is woven. Only there may you choose how these seeds shall endure. The journey was perilous. Rowan entered caverns where echoes whispered his doubts, where shadows took the shapes of all he might have been: rich merchant, cruel master, weary hermit. Each vision offered him escape if he would only cast aside his burden. Yet he pressed on, guided by a faint golden glow from the seeds. At last he reached a cavern vast as the sky, its roof glittering with crystal veins. In the center hung a great loom strung with threads of light and darkness, each strand humming softly. The white-haired woman was already there, as though she had awaited him. "This is the loom of life," she said. "Here, every choice becomes a thread. Plant the seeds in selfishness, and the loom will weave chains of envy across the world. Plant them with wisdom, and the loom will weave healing." Rowan knelt, holding the seeds in his calloused hands. He thought of the merchant's gold, of the noble's demands, of his own loneliness in the cottage. He thought, too, of children laughing with bread in their mouths, of neighbors unburdened by hunger, of fields where no soil lay barren. He pressed the seeds into the earth at the loom's base. The cavern filled with light, threads shifting, weaving patterns brighter and steadier. The seeds sprouted instantly, growing into a tree with silver leaves that rang like bells when the cavern's breeze stirred them. The woman touched the trunk. "You have chosen balance, Rowan. This tree will stand between greed and generosity, reminding men that the earth's gifts are neither to be hoarded nor wasted. And will you guard it?" Rowan nodded, though he knew it meant a lifetime bound to this place. The tree's roots curled gently around his feet, not in chains, but in kinship. Years passed, and in Eldenford, farmers found their fields more fertile, their harvests plentiful. Hunger waned, quarrels softened. Children who once went barefoot carried baskets of fruit. They spoke of a farmer who had vanished into the hills and of a tree that glowed faintly on misty nights. Some said Rowan had been taken by the earth as its steward. Others said he became the spirit of the hollow hills, watching over every seed sown in Eldenford. But in quiet moments, when the wind rustled the fields, farmers swore they could hear a voice carried with the breeze, gentle, steady, patient as soil itself, reminding them that the earth is generous, but only if we are generous in return. And so the valley thrived, not through gold nor king's decrees, but through the unseen guardianship of a farmer who chose balance over power. His story became a lesson told to children at dusk, that true strength is not in taking what the earth offers, but in protecting it for all.